You're watching the Bethel College Football Show.
I say, brother, you stay hood! Brother, hood, brother, hood, brother, hood!
Sears is going to fake the pitch to Juarez. DJ Sears in for the touchdown.
To the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. Bethel College now up to 8-1 on the season and number 13 in the NAIA coaches poll. Bethel fresh off a victory 31-14 at Tabor in the Minnow Bowl this past week from Hillsboro. And coach, before we get into that, how was your Halloween? Did you dress up as anything? That is the question we all want to know.
Yes, I dressed up as an NAIA football coach.
Oh, I saw that, the little meme.
Yeah, I had the package, got the Crocs and everything going along with it, and the sweatpants. So that's what I was.
There you go.
Had some fun taking the kids trick-or-treating. We did actually on campus in the dorms on Sunday. That was really cool.
Nice.
Shout out to Samantha Bonds and the student life people who put that on. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So
excellent. Yeah, I was Tony Stark.
I see it. Yeah,
a little
cool.
bit. So
that's cool. Yeah,
we
I see that.
had the Edith glasses, all that. But anyways, just having a little bit of fun with it this past week. 31-14, the Threshers get out of Hillsboro with the victory, and you could say some things that were really good that happened, and some things that definitely needed to be improved as far as turnovers and things like that. Overall, defense played an extraordinary game again. You can't really fault them for really that much in the game. They played really, really hard.
Well, it's funny you say that because we had our meeting on yesterday, and I'm talking about with the player leadership group.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, of course, they come in and like, Coach, I think we need to really address turnovers this week, like really. And of course, I'm like, of course, I know.
Sure.
They're like, no, like on both sides, because we dropped 4 interceptions. So we can't just, defense did play lights out, but they're aware. I mean, everybody wants to get better. Like, they're not just like pat us on the back, we did great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, everybody understand it's a team effort, you know what I mean? So we had 4 turnovers. We also dropped 4 interceptions, you know what I mean? So the team as a whole just feels like, hey, we want to all come together and get better, focusing on not turning the ball over and creating turnovers as well. So.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good insight from some players.
Well, definitely, you always want to see what the slightest bit of improvement could be,
Mm-hmm.
and you could argue that, pass breakups, deflections, the program has to be up there in the NAIA rankings as far as that statistic goes. 15 interceptions on the season now, which is one, at least one in every game. There's proof to that.
Mm-hmm.
Just shy of 2 per contest on average. But defensive touchdowns, I think you guys are either tied for first or in second.
Okay.
Defensive touchdowns, I think it's 5 on the season. So that's
sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's pretty impressive for the program in that regard. I was looking some of that stuff up. So you talk about defense, I can throw those numbers at you. But let's break down how the contest went down. The Threshers get the ball first, and Chance Scurry takes it 34 yards for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a great play. It was nice to see Chance break away for one and get downfield blocking. I think it was either Braden or Isaac that had a ceiling block downfield for Chance. And then You guys, I believe you get a stop on defense. You get the ball back on offense. They get an interception return for touchdown. And that makes it 7-7. And then next possession, you guys get it back. DJ runs it for 41 yards and a touchdown. And 14-7 was the score. You guys felt like you were in control of the game, really, at that point, and end up going 21-7 on another DJ Sears rushing touchdown, and trying to get more from that first half, calling timeouts on defense. You guys on that last few minutes there of the first half. Defense does its job. You guys taking timeouts to give the offense time to score, and offense fumbles the ball. Tabor takes a drive down and scores, and it's 21-14 at half. It was just kind of a roller coaster, a little bit of a first half for you guys. When it was good, it was really good. When things could be improved, you knew what that was. So.
Oh yeah. You can say it. When it was bad, it was. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Dan. Me too. I am. Yeah, but it's one of those things where, as the season go on, and first of all, Bethel Tabor rivalry game. Coach Mike Gardner, veteran coach, got a lot of respect for him. Great coach. Having his guys ready to go, coming off of two kind of lopsided defeats that they had, it's one of those things where you challenge your guys, and it's like, is this the team we're going to be? And I think they came out and proved that, they didn't want to be that team that just rolls over for like ranked teams or teams that may be atop the conference, that they're finding their way. So that is just all the credit in the world to Coach Mike Gardner having his guys ready to go. But then again, for us, I felt like we were just a couple of mistakes away from having a really good first half. And not only that, obviously, Chance Scurry went down in the first quarter with the calf injury. When guys like that who are feeling good on the day and they're showing it, and I talked to him right before kickoff. I'm like, "How you feeling today, Chance?" He's like, "Dangerous." That was his exact words to me. So, and he went out and he showed it. He really was. He was dangerous to start that, and to have him go down, and now you trying to find a groove for another guy. You know what I mean? It gets hard. Sometimes it gets hard when you're riding a guy and then he goes down, and it's just like kind of like, okay, now we've got to find the next kind of hot hand. And I attribute some of the first half struggles to just finding the rhythm without Chance. Matter of fact, there was a part in the game where we rotate backs anyway, and they all do a great job. But I noticed Chance hadn't been in a couple of series, and I'm like, hey, let's go back to Chance. And they actually told me on the headset, Chance is on the sideline with Brooke. Oh, I turn around, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, he's on the table, and
yeah.
I'm like, I look over, Brooke's like, no, he's done. I'm just like, oh goodness, like, okay, I all right, let's settle in, let's find the next hot guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it was. But at halftime, 21-14, we felt as if we were winning in the stats. We were winning on the scoreboard. We just, I just felt like, I don't know if we were winning with our emotions and our actions. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where that was the message. Like, our theme of the week was actually go. You know what I mean? Which the definition we used was rise up and excel. You know what I mean? And so, and it was at halftime. I'm like, hey, you're winning in these phases of the game. Now let's go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's go. Rise and excel. You know what I mean? And I think they took the challenge and did what, exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, I remember we spoke briefly at half, and I was just thinking, two main plays is the difference, in what the scoreline was in the first half. But nonetheless, you come out of halftime, your defense shuts out Tabor the rest of the game. Just fantastic job. Trey Palmer gets an interception. I think he's up to maybe 21 now.
21, 2 away from the record.
There you go. So I know that's all important to him with one final game left in the regular season. But that was a big moment for you guys. That created a lot of momentum. You guys go down and score on. I believe DJ ran it in again for you guys on a rushing touchdown. But defense was nasty there for a while. Josh Seabolt doing Josh Seabolt things. Doug Ryder as well, getting all over the place and making really good plays. Denzel Dixon had a great play on the perimeter. I think it was on a fourth down stop. So
yes.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that from him because I know how hard he's worked this year, coming off of injury and things like that. So your defense really stepped it up. They got a little chippy there late in the game, and thankfully, nothing severe happened there in the second half.
Football is an emotional game, and you never want to see your player hurt, especially your brother who you work with get injured. You never really want to see that. So I understand that your emotions are gonna rise, but I just tell our guys, you got to understand, like, hey, it's part of the game. Like, pull yourself back, and if you lose your composure and you're gonna do something you regret, and you're gonna have a consequence that we can't control. And that's the message to our guys. But I thought they did a good job, and the officials did a good job of just controlling that situation. It turned out to be really, really nothing. You know what I mean? Just a heated moment in a very physical football game. So
sure.
Actually shaking hands with Coach Gardner afterwards. I was just like, hey man, we want to try to play the right way, and he respected that a lot. He was very thankful to hear that and felt the same way.
No question. I know that just from being on the sideline, there's a lot of emotions from players. Anybody wants all your players to be safe as possible. So when something like that happens, it just kind of like it tugs at anybody from different directions, certainly. But the other points that the Threshers had in the second half was a 36-yard field goal from Logan DeMond, and that put the scoring to the end, and it was 31-14 with the victory over Tabor. Now you've improved to 8-1. I think you guys are you the only team with 8 wins right now in the conference? Because I think either Avila or Southwestern are just 7-1.
8 conference wins. I think Avila has 8 wins. They play Arkansas. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think they play Arkansas Baptist, and they got a win there. But I know we're the only team in conference with 8 conference wins. Yes.
And certainly these final weeks coming up are definitely have a lot in store. But just final thoughts really from coming off of Tabor. It's good to get that game out of your system at the same time. It's just a short little road trip. There's some things that were a little bit different than typical road games for you guys as far as travel concerns. But I thought your guys handled that pretty well for the most part. But yeah, it just, now you get to come back home and you play your senior day game.
I love being home.
Yes.
Love being home.
But we're going to talk about more of that in a bit. But just kind of wrapping up Tabor and getting into the final regular season game, the final game that you guys are guaranteed. I mean, do you feel like it's kind of a limbo state right now by any means?
You know what? I try not to. I'll be honest with you. I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to, have anxiety over it. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you. I experienced a little bit of it this weekend on Sunday and a little bit Monday. Sure. As far as like overthinking it, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it helps. I do play out scenarios in my mind, and I do like the glass half full approach to it, where week by week, if the playoffs started this week, we be in. We'll reevaluate next week because, I can look at all that stuff. But if you don't take care of business, this week, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So I really I'm trying not to focus on it as much. And after we play the game, man, it'll be what it is. And we'll just we'll wait around to see what happens. But we're going to do it, man, with our hearts, our hearts will be full. You know what I mean? We'll be grateful for the position that we're in. We'll be grateful for the blessings that we've been fortunate enough to have this season, and we'll take whatever comes our way. But I am hopeful, and I'm very faithful, and I believe that that at the end of it all, I believe that we're going to be in the playoffs.
It's a good mindset. Just thinking, what came to mind there is, do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have its own worries.
Yes, it does. But seek first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness. All these things shall be added unto thee. Matthew 6:33. Yes,
there you go. I knew you knew it, so I had to say it.
Yes,
but that's going to wrap up our first segment of the show. But again, the Threshers improved to 8-1, number 13 in the NAIA coaches polls with a 31-14 victory at Tabor, and they get set to take on the University of St. Mary Spires. It's a 1 o'clock kick from Thresher Stadium this week. You can watch it on the KCAC network if you don't get a chance to make it out. Hopefully we stay dry and things like that. There's some forecasted rain coming up, so we're excited for Senior Day festivities and so many players to honor on that day. But we'll get to St. Mary coming up next here on the Thresher Football Show.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
We're kicking off another year here at Bethel College, and we need your help in making this another successful season. Thanks to your generosity in the spring, we were able to purchase championship rings and practice jerseys for our players, giving them a big-time experience. Since then, we've added several new faces to the program, and we couldn't be more excited to get to work molding a group of upstanding young men. All summer long, our guys have been getting after it in the weight room, and since August 5th, we've been hard at work preparing to put a product on the field that honors the tradition of Bethel College football. With your help, we're ready to make this another great year. Thanks for your generosity, and roll on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. Threshers 8-1 and number 13 in the NAIA polls as they get set for Senior Day and they take on the University of St. Mary Spires. 1 o'clock as it's planned right now. Kick from Thresher Stadium. You can watch that on the KCAC network or purchase your tickets in advance at BethelThreshers.com. Coach, Senior Day, and so many guys that it's going to, there's going to be some emotions there, seeing some guys leave that have really just had so much identity, not just with people on campus, but with the public and Thresher football.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've got a big class that'll be getting represented, that we'll be recognizing this upcoming Saturday. And that doesn't even include two guys who've been like a staple. I mean, just the backbone of Bethel College football since 2018. And Josh Sebo and Chance Scurry, both of those guys were recognized last year and decided to take their fifth year to come and play again. So they chose not to do it again, and I get it. You know what I mean? They didn't want to do it again, but we've got 27 others. And a lot of these guys, I want to say out of the 27, I think only, as I'm looking here, maybe one may be a transfer in this year, and that's Amani Peoples. So 26 of these guys have been here from 2019. You know what I mean? So that's and I think we got a couple of 3-year guys like Kel Irving. I think he came in 2020, but he's got enough credits to graduate and walk. So, but yeah, man, it's just a great group. And well, you're going to mention the success that they've had.
Oh yeah, I mean, you certainly have to.
Yeah.
I mean, 34-8 is what we calculated as these 4-year seniors their record. Yeah. And then if you're thinking about the two you mentioned in Seabolt and also Braden Francis and Chance Scurry, they've won 37 games in their career in a Thresher uniform. But yeah, 34-8 for the 4-year guys. I just remember first day of their freshman year, first game of their freshman year. It seems like it was just last year, but the time has certainly flown by. Such a great class, a class that I've really got to know from the beginning. This has been my 4th year doing this as well, but incredible. Winningest senior class, or winningest class freshman to senior year in Thresher football history at 34-8. That is unbelievably awesome. And those guys, they've had a lot of help along the way, but they're a big reason for the success at the same time.
Absolutely. And some other accomplishments. So that I believe they were ranked in the top 25 toward the end of their freshman year, and have stayed ranked the entirety of their careers here within the top 25 nationally. So that's also something that's just just a huge accomplishment, and I'll list off these guys. I've got the 27 that we'll recognize on Saturday, and I'll list them off. You've got Logan DeMond, who's a kicker, Seth Weathersby, DB, Cade Miller, linebacker, Dagan Goodner, linebacker, John Henson, the defensive lineman, Tyler Dobbs, a linebacker converted to H-back, and he's back this week, by the way, so
good.
We're happy about that. Isaac Enriquez, he's a tight end, H-back. Amani Peoples, a defensive lineman. Grant Gotze, a DB. Jesse Garcia, a running back converted to the defensive line. Antoine Thompson, an offensive lineman. Jacoby Masters, a DB. Austin Price, a DB, Kel Irving, defensive lineman, Ryan Gregg, an offensive lineman, Colin Bergerman, a DB, Josh Moran, a quarterback, Justin Foster, a receiver, Ryan Junkemeyer, an O-lineman, Keegan Martin, an O-lineman, Dalen Kistner, he was a D lineman, and he's also helping coach this year. Brayton Francis, a receiver, Jared Foster, who's an H-back tight end, Rudy Juarez, who's a slot receiver, Phil Williams, a DB, Brian Parker, a defensive lineman, and Trey Palmer, a DB. So what a group.
Yeah, I mean,
what a group, man.
I remember the conversations when you were on staff back in 2019. You go on the road, and we were listening to Kansas Wesleyan's senior day, and them list off, 27 to 30 guys. Yeah,
30 plus.
And that was the goal of where the program wanted to be. And here we are, 3 years later, and it's an incredible class. The last 3 senior classes for this program have been truly remarkable. No question. I mean, you could even go back as far as 4 in regards to that as well, because there's some quality athletes. But this stretch, I mean, for anybody that's followed Bethel College athletics, long term, you definitely have to feel like this has been a blessing of sorts to just see the transformational experience for these student athletes, because before 2019, there was some really grim days in this program. Yes, there were conference championships, in the late 2000s and back in 1984, but, those things seemed like so distant to some people on this campus. And just, there's a lot of people that can take credit for these last 5 years even. But it's just been just a joy for everyone to, go on Saturday, game day, whether it's home or road game, and just, make this an experience that's unforgettable.
Absolutely, and that's what we want these guys to do. We want them to. I told them I want them to play the freest game that they've played all year, and have the most fun and play for one another, especially all these seniors who sacrifice so much. You say a lot of people, and most of them we just named off. Guys who committed to a vision. You know what I mean? Because you remember, you keep saying 2019. Well, I was here in 18. You know what I mean? When all these guys committed to a program that wasn't what it is today. All these guys committed to, a 3-win team, and 2 years prior to that, a 1-win team. All these guys committed to that. And without these guys committing and buying in and doing the work, Bethel is not what it is today. So these guys deserve the bulk of that credit. And that's why I'm so happy that even with, their senior year could have been completely flipped upside down on its head. These guys chose to make it memorable and to buy into newness and buy into one another and say, you know what, we're going to play for each other and we're going to have a great time doing it and play to the best of our abilities. And it's paid off for them. So I can't just say credit to a lot. No, it's credit to those guys who took the chance to make Bethel a special place, and that's how it always is. We're in the business of serving, and we're serving these young men, and they reap all the reward. And I'm so happy and so proud of that. I just was able to be a part of at least 2 of their seasons. You know what I mean? 19, and the bookends of them, and that these guys, we're gonna celebrate them on Saturday and beyond. And I'm grateful that they were able to accomplish all these things in their careers.
Certainly, yeah. So many people that have just worked extremely hard just for these individuals. Service. Just selfless leadership. Just putting in time to give them recognition, to lift them up, and put them in this position. And they definitely want to go out on their own terms, with a chance to have 3 straight years of at least a share of a conference championship and a chance to get back to the playoffs and end on that note is something, no question, they're yearning after, and they want to accomplish that before they walk off this campus for the last time as students, no question.
Oh yeah.
So the Threshers taking on the University of St. Mary this week. Going back historically, the Threshers defeated the Spires in Leavenworth last season, and it put up a lot of points. Defense was great that day as well. Then 2020 did not happen due to COVID-19 protocols, things like that. And then back in 2019, the Threshers played St. Mary on Senior Day back then, and guys like Joe Winfield were recognized on that day. A great day for Thresher football. And then 2018, you guys actually went up there and got the victory against the Spires. So the last few years has been pretty successful against St. Mary. So many different personnel differences from then to now, but historically this has been a good matchup for the Threshers, and got to feel confident going in. I know that's just a mainstay for your guys at this point. And like you say, Coach, it's just a faceless opponent most of the time.
Yes, you knew it. It was coming.
It was coming. We've done this a few times. Yeah. We've had enough conversations where I could kind of think towards that direction. But no question, St. Mary is a team that you guys can feel confident about, and just take care of business and do the last thing that you guys need to do to focus inward before any chance of postseason.
Well, for sure. I mean, and the confidence probably doesn't stem more from who we're playing. Like you said, it's just just confidence in wanting to play our best game and wanting to honor these young men that we just listed off. And then also, though, we respect St. Mary. We understand, we've got to be at our best, to play, a competitive game against them. They've got good players. They've got a really good quarterback. They've always had athletes, and they've always came out and played hard, and they don't go away. They don't go away. And so I think last year you guys were up pretty big on them. We were up pretty big on them, and they scored some points late to kind of create a scare. Sure. And so we know these guys want to play. They're going to want to play as well, and everybody wants to give Bethel their best shot. So we're prepared for that, but we are confident in our ability to play a good game of football. And when it's all said and done, we'll look up at that scoreboard and be grateful with the outcome.
No question. It's the Threshers and the Spires this coming Saturday from Thresher Stadium. Right as of right now, some precipitation in the forecast, so stay tuned to Thresher Athletics social media to what that means. Could that impact the game? Things like that. Administration has all over that, just with the potential for anything happening in that regard. But this week is pretty big week for you guys, and Senior Day and things like that with St. Mary. You know that there's other games happening that you could have that could have your attention potentially afterward. But St. Mary definitely the focus going forward, because there's so much on the table. We talked about, I just mentioned the fact that these seniors want to go out on their terms. There's so much left more they could play potentially. It would be a couple weeks, and it's going to be nice to potentially have a bye week in between that. For some guys, but just kind of going forward, just the momentum with things that are going on. I think this game is something definitely you guys against Tabor. There were some things that came out and was brought to a head that now you guys might be a little bit more focused on making sure you don't make those same mistakes in this game, because from here on out every game is extremely important.
Absolutely, and we felt that way. We actually it's funny, we actually felt that way going into the Tabor game. It's just for whatever reason it didn't work out exactly the way we planned. But we actually stated last week that the playoff starts now for us. Like, it starts now, and it wasn't to put pressure on guys. Maybe it did, unknowingly, but the whole reason it wasn't to put negative pressure on them. It's, hey, get used to the fact that eventually, if you want to go to the playoffs, then you better get used to some pressure and knowing that this is it. It's one and done. There's no consolation bracket. You know what I mean?
There's no guarantees.
So absolutely. So it's one of those things, and that's why this week, we want to free them up, let them go play, let them have some fun, and finish. So
is finish the word this week?
What's finish? Finish.
It
is. It comes from the book of John, Jesus' last word. It is finished. And and the definition of it is all that is required is given. All that's required is given. And so that's what we want to do. We want to give everything, all that's required of us, this week. And so, and finish this thing the right way in hopes of new life, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I know it may seem like a long way off and things like that, but you have to, I know that you're a big picture guy, and just thinking going forward, okay, potentially different scenarios, and just going forward from this season, we'll have a show officially to wrap up the season whenever that is, But yeah, you just got to be mindful of all that, and just there's so much that's going to be happening now that, you know, you talked about at the beginning of the season. You know, I'll look back at things in December. Well, you know, it's a month away.
It's a month away.
And so, you know, a lot of things to look back at. You know, I was thinking about it. You know, the last few weeks, I was like, sometimes it seems like you're just so focused on the work involved that you know, when it's the other times of the year where it's not the season, you just wish it was, because, you know, you have that excitement, and it's sometimes difficult to enjoy, you know, some of the things, as, you know, that you, because of that long hours,
right,
and, you know, all the stuff that, you know, even the players you have to put themselves through to be a college athlete is, you know, it's a full-time job in itself, and just to be a student on top of that, certainly. But I mean, it's certainly a pleasure to, you know, really just, you know, think about that, you know, all that can go away pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's not a pleasure to think about it ending by any means, but just like you said, you're freeing them up to focus and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely, and because it's something that's needed, because you hit it on the head when you said sometimes when you're in it, you can't really enjoy it because you're so focused. It's like, no, man, look, we're gonna go play, and I've been saying this for a long time. Like, champions, they want to play. You know, they want to play. They want to play the game. They enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, and enjoy the competition, but want to play, want to keep playing. That's it. Like, we just want to play. We want to play the game, and I want them to definitely stop and smell the roses this week, and just enjoy it and play for one another, you know, and you know, just have a good time, Dan.
Certainly, play with joy. Joy is not a word that I use very lightly. Yeah. It's a word that describes, you know, so many different things. But there's different kinds of joy, you know, through trials and tribulations and things like that. And then the often thought definition of joy at the height of, you know, happiness, things like that, and, you know, thinking that way. But you know, joy is definitely a good word to focus on with these final weeks coming up. So. This week, the Threshers in St. Mary's Spires, again from Thresher Stadium. It's the senior day, 27 seniors, and my goodness, it's going to be a great game. You guys should come out for it. If you can't make it, watch it on the KCAC network. I'll have coverage of that. And, you know, I don't like thinking about the last Bethel College football game I get to call this year unless, you know, we somehow pull a hosting game down the road here. But, I mean, I'm all for that because, you know, I love, you know, just covering these guys. We talk about the senior class, but it's more than that now. It's just the guys that have been here year in and year out. And, I'm not ready to see them go either. I mean,
I hear you.
It's just kind of one of those things.
I'm definitely not. I'm trying to talk half of them into just staying another year.
Well, you build so many relationships. Yeah. And, you know, one of my mentors in broadcasting, Wyatt Thompson, once told me, he said, because I asked him, I was like, how do you communicate so much enthusiasm to your job of recognizing these coaches and student athletes? And he's like, you build the relationships with them.
That's great advice.
This has been such a tight-knit group that the relationships, I mean, just, you know, they all care about each other. Everybody. They do. And they've been such an influence, more than football. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I had to get that, you know, we're talking about final thoughts here in the show, but, you know, that's something that's been on my mind pretty much the whole season. Yeah. So, Coach, any final thoughts going into the game against St. Mary?
Well, you know, again, I'm very grateful. I told you last week, Dan, you know, grateful for you and what you do for these parents, and definitely grateful for these seniors and what they've invested in their families. What their families have invested into Bethel College and Bethel College football. Man, I'm just hoping for just all the best for them this Saturday and beyond, way outside of football. I think these are great young men who are going to go out and do great things and be great people in the world. So, again, thank you to those seniors and their families. we definitely love you guys, and can't wait to see what you guys accomplish outside of the football realm, because we know they accomplished a lot within it, and that just sets the stage for them to do great things outside. And as always, man, I'm grateful to my wife. Every time I say that, sometimes it doesn't record. You notice that? But we got something new this week.
Yes.
So I'm definitely saying it, man. My wife and my family and my coaches and their families sacrifice a lot, and they're right there with us. For the wins and the losses, they're right there with us. And still loving us and supporting us every step of the way, my family and my coaches and their families. So I'm grateful to them. I'm just grateful that God has blessed me to be able to work with great people like you and these coaches and the people at Bethel College.
No question. Yeah, it's been an incredible experience for everybody. You guys will have to get a picture or something of all the seniors together because of their accomplishment on the in the program. The winningest class to date in Bethel Thresher football at 34-8, an incredible 4-year run for the 4-year seniors, and then even the couple that have been here 5 years, just truly remarkable people and leaders, no question. So that's going to do it for our show this week. Thanks for everybody for watching. If you watched back when we were talking about Atlantis to now, we do appreciate it. This show is for you guys. We don't just do it just to hear ourselves talk here every week. This is, to add to the experience for everyone involved. So we certainly thank everybody for watching each week. So for Coach A.B. Stokes, I'm Dan Page. We might do one more show. We'll see. Maybe more. I was going to say until next time, roll on. But hopefully we have more than next time. So until more than next time, roll on.